Are you on the keto diet and currently experiencing itchy, symmetrical, kind of red, irritated rash? I'm going to explain what that is, why you're experiencing it, and more importantly, what to do about it so you can resolve it without necessarily kicking your keto diet to the curb. Stay tuned for this video. Welcome everybody, I'm Dr. Melissa Gallagher. I'm a naturopathic physician and I am very excited to answer a ton of my viewer questions here with today's video. I know so many of you watching, and if you are new, welcome to our community. I hope you will subscribe to my channel. I want to share with you an experience that actually 50%, yes, 1 out of every 2 individuals undergoing or involved in the keto diet, which is a diet of low carb, consumption that really kicks off the fat burn and creates ketosis. So I'm not going to get into the details of keto and ketosis. That's another video if you want me to do that. But more importantly, I want to explain why there are literally 50% of individuals on a keto diet experiencing a keto rash. They traditionally experience this kind of inflammation, inflamed skin, red, rashy, kind of irritated in the neck, along the chest, under the breast, and even in the back. It tends to be on spots where we traditionally sweat. And so a lot of my keto consumers are actually exercising quite a bit. And so there are a few kind of theories behind why you might experience this. The first one is that our sweat contains acetone, which if you are a woman and you wear nail polish, you understand acetone is actually an acid that helps us remove our nail polish. On the skin, it can be irritating. So that's one kind of irritation point potentially behind the keto rash. Point number 2 is that ketones actually escape or are eliminated through our lymphatics, out through sweat, and can maintain themselves on the skin like acetone. So the ketones that actually you're kind of burning, that whole ketosis component, this can be part of the irritation. Now, deeper than that, and there's a lot of philosophies around this, but as a naturopath, I dig into the root cause of illness and disease. And this is what I believe many of you and many of my patients are experiencing. This has to do with the actual act of ketosis, where your body is literally burning fat for energy. Well, here's the reality, friends. Our fat cells are our storage closets in our body. They actually store and harbor and maintain and house heavy metals. They also maintain hormonal kind of imbalances, and they also will store a ton of different toxins that are often very harmful for us. So what I find is that when you're going through ketosis, you actually undergo a big time detox. And that's going to be something we talk about in terms of the resolution. But just know that some of that heavy metal detoxing kicks up a yeast response, a candida reaction. And that simply is because the way heavy metals are engaged in our body, there's a big bond. They literally are like stuck magnetically to yeast. And so where our fat cells are removing toxic matter like heavy metals, those bonds are breaking, and then you've got this free-floating yeast that is systemic. And if you want more information about that, watch this video where I dig into systemic yeast and kind of resolving that. But this is really what's going on in terms of your body's reaction. Now, the other thing at play for some of my patients, they actually experience a lot of allergy symptoms. So sometimes that ketosis might be kicking up some of the chemicals. They're having an allergic reaction to that. And then also, sometimes it's a histamine sensitivity. And so some of those histamines are causing that redness. And I work with tons of folks with POTS and mast cell, which are disorders that are very sensitive to histamine responses. So the big question is, what do you do about it? So I actually have several steps that I'm going to recommend that you implement to help your body kind of detox. So one of the aspects at play, if there is a sweat involvement in terms of ketones and acetone and a whole bunch of other toxins, the best thing you want to do is to motivate your lymphatic system. If you are new to my channel, you probably don't know this, but I am a specialist in the lymphatic system and lymphatic disorders, diseases, and promote the lymphatics in my practice. So one of the things that you can reach for that I actually sell in my store, and this is really, it's professional grade, so you're not able to really find this on Amazon, but it's a homeopathic lymphatic drainer called Lymph Stim. This is something therapeutically you can take 20 or 30 drops 3 times a day to help promote the lymph flow. That's going to help part of that whole detox process. Now, if you're experiencing really inflamed red skin, then often that's a histamine reaction. And the histamine response we can actually combat with NAC, N-Acetyl Cysteine, which is extremely beneficial for combating the whole histamine response. Then the other thing that I like to recommend is a topical application. This is not a curative by any means. It's not getting to the root cause of the issue, but it will definitely tame the redness. This is called Calendula. This is, it's really a homeopathic. Calendula is based and oriented from marigold, and calendula is actually used and promoted with scrapes and burns and any type of skin irritation, redness, irritation. This is also a great butt balm for you parents out there if your kids have any type of diaper rash. But the calendula topically you can put on those spots and on the back where you're getting that irritation. It'll at least tame it while we're resolving it, the keto rash from the inside. The next step, number 4, is related to the detoxing. We definitely tend to find that all of the fat-soluble toxins that the keto diet really kind of releases, because your fat cells are being burnt and they're releasing what was inside them, those storage containers and the fat cells actually hold toxicity, chemicals, I mean, you name it, it's being held in our fat cells. Well, we need to help your liver detox that out. And that's one of the things that we look at is we want to promote a really good liver detoxing. I'll provide some product recommendations, but you definitely want to, for sure, incorporate dandelion and milk thistle. If you're new to my channel, I'm a broken record. I'm sorry for all of the people who usually watch me. I am a huge fan of dandelion tea. This is for anybody, as such a great liver promoter, and then put a few drops of herbal liquid milk thistle in that tea and you're off and running with a good liver detoxer. And the 5th aspect that a lot of my keto diet consumers aren't always happy with is that sometimes you might actually have to slowly bring in the carb intake just to manage some of that intense die-off. And it sometimes is one of those things where a lot of these diet fads I'm always cautious of, because sometimes they're pretty violent in terms of the body's response. Not that they're ill-effective, that they're not good for you, but sometimes it's a shock to your system. And that's what I find the keto rash is. It's quite a shock, and your skin is experiencing the irritation and the rash. The last and final aspect that I'll just briefly touch, and I do have a little bit more of video content here, but you definitely want to manage the gut-related imbalances that the systemic yeast overgrowth, the candida, the bacterial imbalances that the keto diet is kicking up. That is definitely a huge factor. So friends, I hope that was helpful. For all of you who are experiencing the keto rash, hang in there. It can get better. I hope these tips you find helpful, and I'm curious if you have any questions, message me below. And as always, I'm grateful for your time. If you're new, I hope you subscribe, and I will see you on our next video tomorrow.